Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Equestrian Tea Time with myself, Isabeau Salas, and my co host, Emma Jenkinson. We are here talking to Kendra Loring, who is a riding instructor with 30 years of experience. She talks about the book she wrote about one of her lesson horses named Henry, and she talks about the differences between therapeutic riding instructors and hippotherapy and all the different varieties of therapeutic riding, and also about her own personal experiences running a lesson program and hiring and firing employees and clients. We had a great time chatting with Kendra, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks for listening.
My name is Kendra Loring. I am the owner of Enchanted Equine Adventures in the South Valley of Albuquerque. And I've been in business for, oh my God, 11 years. I've been teaching riding for more than 30 years now, so a long time. I have a bachelor's of science in equine studies and riding. I've been doing horses pretty much forever.
Are there any horror stories that you have to share with us about running a lesson program or perhaps about lesson horses or whatever you like?
I like to look at most of those experiences as learning, not really setbacks. It takes a very special horse to be a lesson horse. And especially doing therapeutic riding, which can look a little different in some programs than it looks in my program, if very intentionally. Yeah, I've had to fire some clients. I've had to hire horse trainers to help me with some issues. I learned that one of my lesson horses is afraid of Nerds candy the hard
Oops.
way. Yeah, we learned that the hard way. I mean, I feel like having been around this business for as long as I have, I kind of take a little bit from everyone I meet, whether it's great, I want to use that. That's a great idea. Like standing in the middle of the arena with a lunge whip in your hand so that the horses don't come and sit in my lap. Or other things that I really don't want to do, like, carrying treats around in my pocket. And I take little bits and pieces from everyone I meet over the years and use them in my own way. So I kind of store things, and I'm happy to fire a client if I need to, if it's just not working. If they're mean to my horses, if they're not showing up for their lessons or not paying me, I'm happy to fire them and tell them that there are many, many programs in town, and I'm happy to refer them.
So, we would like to know more about how you run your internships or volunteer program.
So first I'll say that I did work for a nonprofit, and I did learn very quickly, having started as a volunteer there and then got certified and became a riding instructor. I learned very quickly that I didn't want to be a nonprofit, and I'm not. I'm an LLC. And I also learned that I didn't want my ability to work to rely on volunteers. No, volunteers are absolutely amazing, incredible human beings, but it literally is a volunteer position. They're not getting paid to be there. So they come if they can come. If they can't come. And that's totally okay. But my ability to run my business cannot revolve on whether or not people show up. So I took a very specific approach to running my program where I can do my job regardless of whether or not I have help. And yes, part of that is I'm a control freak and I need to do it all myself. And as my wife will attest to. And but part of that is also I want the horses to work. I want to work. I want the kids and adults to be able to ride. I want to move forward, and I don't want to, have this question mark on whether or not, we can do the work. And there are many programs in town who utilize wonderful volunteers who do show up constantly. And if a rider does need extra attention, help, support, I'll send them to those programs. And that works out absolutely perfectly. So 90 5% of my riders are independent. And so I generally don't need to have sidewalkers and horse leaders there to help out. And if I do have, maybe a first time rider who might be a little bit nervous, who I need to walk around with myself, I will just do a private lesson to start them. So, I love volunteers and I think they're amazing. And I do have an intern right now who is fantastic, thank goodness. But my volunteers are very limited. And they come when they're available to come, and they want to learn what they want to learn. And so that's my biggest thing, is finding out what their goal is, what they want to learn. Are they there because their school, their parent, their guidance counselor, somebody told them they had to go volunteer somewhere? If they did that, then here's a pitchfork, go scoop some poop, but if they want to do this job, they want to learn from me, they have an interest, they want to be a vet tech, they want to do this, they want to do therapeutic riding, they want to get certified, then those are specific goals that we can work towards. So for me, it's finding out what's in it for them. What do they want to get out of it? And if they literally just want some vitamin D and they want to be outside, then great. I'll teach you how to round pen a horse, and you can come groom and round pen all day. So that's kind of how I approach it. And the summer interns are fantastic. Generally, I've had a few of them who didn't work out and quit over text. And maybe that's just how people do things nowadays. I am ancient.
I think so.
But yeah, so it has to be worth it for them. And the girl I have right now, she shows up early. She stays until whenever I need her to be there. She takes initiative. She does stuff when she sees it needs to happen. She's communicative, like all the things that you would want in an employee down the line. So, I'm let's say a little bit picky about who comes and hangs out with us, because my horses are pretty special, they're pretty amazing, and if I don't feel like it's going to work out between us, I'll say thanks. There's a couple of other programs in town that are looking for volunteers, or go try this rescue and see if they need some volunteers. So yeah, that's kind of how I approach it.
Awesome. Let's see here. So I'd like to ask you what your thoughts are on ethically employing people as instructors, or whatever you may call it.
Well, I've been in the horse industry for a very long time. I was a groom previous to this. I was a groom for a show jumping barn. I was a groom for an Olympic rider. I worked for an Arabian show barn. None of those things were ethical. I'll tell you that much. The way that humans are treated in those fields is it's not great. So I'm not going to say that those are that's not the way to go for some people. For some people, you go and you learn this is how you don't treat humans. And other people want to pursue that route, and they learn better ways of doing things and come up with better systems. So that's fantastic. But as a riding instructor, we don't get paid very much. Expense heavy business, unfortunately, as much as we love them. There is money in the field. Sure, there is money to be made, but all my horses are rescues. Most of my tech is hand-me-down stuff or used stuff. So if you want to make $1 million, this is probably not the field for you. But if you want to help people and help horses work together and, make everyone's lives better, this is a fantastic field. And it is long hours. It is in the cold and the heat and the snow. And,
Mm.
and you get all those in one day in New Mexico, right?
Nice.
So
Yes, we do. Even on like opposite sides of the mountain.
exactly,
Wow.
exactly. So, yeah, so there's definitely some challenges in the industry, and I feel like the more people who talk about all those issues and challenges, I feel like the better the industry gets. And for me, utilizing rescue horses is one of the ways I do that, because I share that horsemanship piece with my clients. These are, yes, they are living, breathing, sentient, feeling beings that you're going to get on and ride. They're also rescue horses, so they also have this background. And we may know their story, we may not know their story, but you've got to work with the horse and its background. So if you're yanking on Henry's head and Henry doesn't like that, he's going to tell you, I don't like that. If you cinch him up too fast, he's going to tell you, I used to have ulcers and that still hurts me, so please don't do that. So teaching people how to work with rescue horses is a big part of being an ethical riding instructor in my mind.
So I had also discussed with you before, and I just loved your perspective on this because I think it's something that should be more normalized, is that if you did have an employee, you would be offering benefits and a real salary and expecting that person to, make a living with all the things you'd expect in a normal job, and you were willing to be self-sufficient and make sure that you got to a place before you did that. And I just think that that is such a great perspective and so different from what we're seeing in the industry today, because day in, day out, I see people asking, how much should I pay someone? But we're really trying to just do as little as we can and find a good person.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like it's kind of been that way all along. I mean, I graduated from college in 1994. So a very long time ago. But back then we didn't have standardized healthcare. You couldn't just call a phone number and get healthcare, today. um so you had to find a job that offered healthcare if you wanted that kind of thing. So luckily today we have that. And that's why I left the horse industry back in the 90s, is because I needed healthcare and I went to retail. And little did I know the retail management path was going to lead me to opening my own business, but it did, and now here I am. But yeah, I mean, you have to be able to offer a living wage and benefits and all the things that any job anywhere would offer. Maternity leave, days off, all those kinds of things. And like I said, we're operations heavy. Horses cost a lot of money. Hay has gone up. I can't even tell you what percentage, thousands of percentage points. Right, at least, right? So yeah, so there's all of these things that are involved in creating a successful business and having um someone on staff who can help you. Like I can't go on vacation, I can't take days off. I am taking a day off next month, and it's a Saturday, and that's almost impossible, you know but it's an important event for me to go to, for my business, for myself, for my peers, because it's one of my peers is putting on an event, but it's also a good thing for my book that just came out. And so I have got to weigh the cost of taking a Saturday off and, or not. So, and you as a business owner, I mean, you got to do that. You got to come up with all of those things to figure out, would it be better? Would I make more money if I hired someone to come and teach lessons to beginners twice a week, Saturday and Sunday, while I go and sell my book at the coffee shop down the street? You know?
Wouldn't that be weird?
Right?
But how cool.
Those are
Um,
the kinds of decisions you have to make as a business owner, you know?
don't I know it? I never get to go anywhere on Saturdays either, and I keep missing
Mm.
clinics. But
Oh
what
my God. And
advice?
can we talk about
Yes, go
riding?
ahead.
Absolutely.
When was the last time I rode a horse? I can't even tell you. I think I
Oh,
sat on a horse to show a rider how to canter, but
Mm.
like actually ride or go to a clinic. I mean, it's been years because I have all these other commitments I've got to work on. So yeah, that is definitely a challenge.
Well, all good things for people thinking about going into the industry to know.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
yes, we don't often get to ride our own horses. Like, for instance, I need a saddle that works for my disability, but everyone else can ride. Just,
yeah.
I gotta wait.
Yeah, and the
Um,
thing with I'm PATH certified, and part of the continuing education hours for PATH is that I can have another PATH instructor teach me a writing lesson, and that can count towards my continuing ed hours. Have I done that? Have we done that as an industry, as a city, as the group of us? We always talk about it, but we never actually do it. We got to work on that.
oh, quickly, could you tell us what PATH is in case anybody is looking at being an instructor and that's a way you can go about it?
I am PATH certified. But there are other entities out there that do certify people to teach therapeutic writing and writing lessons and do equine assisted mental health, equine assisted learning, coaching, all those things. CHA is a great one. I am with PATH. I'm probably going to get CHA certified
Cool.
in the near, when I hit the lottery. Um, it's an expensive process, but you have to be certified in order to get the insurance to do therapeutic writing. To work with kids and adults with disabilities, you have to have that certification. So I because I've been writing forever and I was in 4-H and I have my degree and I had the horse background. I didn't have the disability background. So I had to learn about different disabilities and their needs as I got certified. But PATH is the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship, and PATH certifies riding instructors, driving instructors, vaulting instructors.
I had a lot of success when I got out of horses and when I was getting back in going to a PATH certified instructor to volunteer and get the help I needed. And I just think that you guys are really equipped to do that. So
Yeah,
that's
and there's a
awesome.
bunch of us.
An
I
awesome
mean,
resource.
thanks. I mean, and
Yeah.
just speaking from an Albuquerque point of view, there are a bunch of us here in town, and we all do it differently. We're
Yep.
all very different. And one of my very good friends is the state rep for CHA. She also does things differently than we do. So if you're interested in pursuing that, reaching out to Mandy's Farm, to Loving Thunder, to Cloud Dancers, to those guys, to talk to them, to come watch lessons, to pick their brain and see how we all do things differently, and then make up your own mind about what, how you want to pursue it. I think that's the best way to go about it.
And we're probably going to do a different episode on this, so possibly disregard. But I think that it's good to note that, like, you and I have been collaborating for years, and it's just really important to reach out to other instructors in your community. You may be able to send each other students, like you were talking about. You may be able to collaborate. Like, I come in and I do we've done some equestrian vaulting days at your program and things like that, but you have given me the saddle I'm using for my lesson program right now, so
Yeah, and I mean,
reach out to others.
Yeah, of course. You should have friends within the industry and be able to partner with them, and maybe someone needs something different than what I'm offering, or they see you teach a lesson and they're like, "Oh my God, I want to do vaulting." And I'm like, "Okay, well, go to Emma." I'm like, "Go learn from her." You know? Same thing with, I have like right now I have a rider who has CP. She wants to be a barrel racer.
Cool.
Awesome. Fantastic. I'm not the place for that. But I know this great place right down the street who goes
Arona's
to
Ranch,
rodeos
I bet.
every weekend, and you could go learn how to barrel race with her. So, I try to set all my clients up for success no matter what they want to do, and collaborating with other places is a huge part of that. Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young professional who's going into the industry to do something like you are?
Take your time, don't rush, and go talk to as many people as you possibly can. Even people that you feel like are not up your alley. It's not what you think. Maybe a show barn, or like the rodeo people. Go and talk to everyone and look at all their different approaches and see what works for you. And if you have $1 million in your back pocket, then you can go out and buy all the perfect horses you want. But the rest of us don't have that. So we have got to reach out and find these perfect unicorns. And I feel like the best way to do that is to go and talk to different programs, all the different rescues, just getting the word out there that you're looking to start a program, and these are the things you need. And then the other side of it is, and it's boring as heck, but taking business classes, learning how to do your own marketing, do your own accounting, or finding people who are good at that. I happen to not be very good at graphic design and marketing. I'm a horse person, but I have the best guy on the planet who designs my website, my logos, the bookmarks for the new book. He's done all this stuff for me. So, and he works with me. He knows that I'm not made of money, and he works with me on price and helps me. He understands if I can't just, toss out $400 to pay him for a job. So, finding people to help you, building a team. And, it might not be your forever team. It might just be someone who helps you get started. But, I spent years in Albuquerque working with the small business community and learning just everything I could. And God, there's so much to it that I was like, okay, I don't know anything about accounting. I don't know anything about small business taxes. So I have to find someone who can help me with those things. So I
Gotcha.
got,
So, Kendra, that begs the question: how about that bachelor's of horse degree? Are you going to recommend that for young folks? All the 18-year-olds want to know. So, should they go to, we won't name any colleges, William Woods, Virginia and Intermont, or Del Valle College in Pennsylvania, or like your college in Ohio? One of these colleges that offers a bachelor's, should these kids be going for those things? How does this degree serve you on a daily basis? Would you do it again?
if you had asked me that question like 15 years ago, I would have said, no, it was an absolute waste of time.
Okay. Now?
Today,
Yes.
it was phenomenal. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I went to Johnson and Wales University, and I'm happy to
Okay.
talk about them, in Providence, Rhode Island. And I
Yep.
knew I wanted out of New England. So I came to New Mexico for a co-op for my last year to work at a breeding farm, and I fell in love with New Mexico. So that's why I'm here. But yeah, I think that as long as you find a quality program with enough, right? With enough little pieces. Maybe there's a class on backing up a trailer. Maybe there's a class on therapeutic riding. Maybe the university has a therapeutic riding team where they train the horses for that specific job. I think as long as it's not pigeonholed into just one arena, one area of this industry,
Yep.
and you get a little bit of everything, I feel like that can help you to answer those questions I'm in my 50s. So things have changed since I was 20. But, and back then, yes, path was a thing back then, but they were very different than they are now. And I probably wouldn't have seen the value in path back then as I do now. I think having a degree will help you. I feel like it'll put you, a little bit ahead of the others who haven't
Mhm.
taken all of those courses, just learning how to give a shot, learning how
Yeah.
to, what all the bones are called, all these things that yes, you could learn in a book, but if you went and did a practicum at a barn and you learned with a veterinarian, you would learn all kinds of things.
Mhm.
So yeah, I feel like even NMSU has a therapeutic riding program. So there's lots of programs out there that have something for everyone and will kind of
Mhm.
answer for you what's going to work for you and what's not.
Mhm. All
Yeah.
righty. Gotcha. Quick question. One of the biggest pain points for instructors and barn managers and owners are something you mentioned in the beginning. Phrase it as firing clients, but we'll say something about breaking up with clients maybe. Have you discovered, how do you handle it now in terms of, there's two big pain points, the screening process? They would say they want to screen out the crazies. We'll be a little bit more polite and say, how do you find people who are a good fit for your program? And then after, when it doesn't work out or when they need to break the relationship up, holding the boundaries. So what have you learned that you can tell people about both how to get people into your program who are going to be a good fit, and then how to let them go when they are not?
So I love that. I love that question. So the first thing I would say is have them come out and watch you teach a lesson.
Okay.
Have them come meet the horses. And if they're like, oh, like this is way too laid back for me. I'm
Yeah.
very casual. I'm very laid back. I'm not
Mhm.
going to be hands on. I'm not going to be screaming heels down at you the whole time. And if that's the kind of thing you're looking for, my place is not your place. I'm so sorry. That would be the first thing is have them come
Mhm.
out and meet with you, watch a lesson, meet the horses, and then you can kind of get a feel for them. Now, I did just raise my rates in 2024. I literally wrote out a pivot letter. Look, this is what's happening in my business. These are my struggles. I have health issues. I can't do the things that I did when I was 25. So I'm going to pivot. I'm going to write books. I'm going to sell the books. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to work with outdoor recreation. I'm going to do all these things. So my time is going to be limited. My prices are also going up. My age also went up because I have 7-year-olds who are just like on the horse, like squirrel.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I'm
Yep.
like, no, 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 make that horse move his feet. You can't just stand there and not do anything for an hour. I had to be a little bit picky about that. And like you said, create that boundary. Look, we're done. I can't do this anymore. And I try to be nice about it at first and say, hey, this isn't working. Do you see it or is it just me? Am I the crazy
Mhm.
person? And if they're like, oh, no, no, the kid loves it, you're crazy, then I'll give them a couple more tries and we'll
Mhm.
see. And then eventually they usually fall off the radar. But also in that pivot letter, I listed an entire section of local facilities that they could try. There are other places you can go to if you want to do this, if you need to do therapeutic riding, if you're just looking for riding lessons, you want trail rides, these are all the places in town. Feel free. There's plenty of us. And so, and if I had to be mean, I had to be mean, but usually I
Mhm.
don't have to. I keep addressing it and I stay on top of it until they usually just fall off the radar. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, good. Very well phrased.
What advice would you give to someone, or should they look for when they're looking for an internship or working student position?
Being a working student can definitely be challenging. You have to be open to learning. And like I said before, learning the things that you don't want to do or to happen or the ways to be treated is part of that, right? But I feel like going and, like I said, learning or watching a lesson and learning how this person who you might become a student of works with people, works with their horses, works with people around them, their family, their dog. How are they? Are they kicking the dog? These are like red flags to look out for. And if you don't feel like it works for you, then step away, but ask for a referral. Maybe there's someplace else in town that might work better for you. And I think being really aware of the time commitment. We feed the horses early, we go to bed late. I have a trailer coming to pick up a horse tonight.
In the dark.
In the dark. I have no idea what time this trailer is going to get here. So am I going to be up past midnight tonight? Probably. Do I have lessons at 9:30 tomorrow morning? Yes, I do. So being aware of the time frame and that kind of commitment as a working student is definitely gonna be part of your decision making. If it's the kind of barn that 5 o'clock they lock the barn doors and everybody goes home, great, then that's great. A lot of places have lights and ride at night, especially when it's cooler in the summertime. So as a working student, and I didn't do this, and I fully admit that I didn't do this when I was in my 20s, go and interview the instructor, the barn manager, go and interview them and make your own decisions. And you'll come away with a gut feeling if you feel like it's a good fit for you or not. You can ask all kinds of questions and get all kinds of information and then move forward. But I would go and try different places, different types of facilities, different types of riding, things that maybe if you ride English and you want to be a working student, but the only place hiring is this place that rodeos every weekend, go talk to them. You never know. You never know what you're going to learn or who you're going to meet, because I'll tell you what, networking in this industry, especially in a little town like this, it's not that small of a town, but it sure feels like it sometimes. Yeah, I mean, networking is a huge part of building your business and building clientele. And so, yeah, I think working, across the industry is the way to go. Emma, you know me, I could go on forever.
I know. Well, we'll probably have you back. We've got lots of topics.
Yes,
Good.
I would love, you gave me a great idea. I would love to have an in-depth discussion about what a college program, we could come up with a list, what courses should it include. That'd be something really useful. When you go look at a college at one of these equestrian programs, can you put together a 4-year plan of classes that's going to include, you should definitely have this, you should definitely have business management, you should definitely have basic taxes for business, you should have basic accounting. It's a list of college courses, because that's one of the big things kids ask online. Is it worth going to get a horse degree? Should I take out a loan to go to this college and take classes on? If you're going to go to a college program, you really should be getting this information. And if you're not, don't care how many championships their hunter under saddle team has won or their ranch riding team has won, don't.
CSU has a great program, and the fact that I would love to just make a carbon copy of their program right now in New Mexico with rescue horses. And all their students work with rescue horses and learn how to train them and turn them into horses with jobs,
Yeah.
I love that. I love connecting youth, college students, I'm in my 50s, with rescue horses and showing the value of a rescue horse in our field, whether it is vaulting or, show jumping or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I love that kind of program. I would love to do that. I would love to have something like that at UNM, but
or anything at UNM.
Right. I know. And it's not
cool.
an agricultural college, unfortunately, like NMSU is. So, but I'm not moving to Las Cruces because it was 106 there yesterday. So I'm good.
Woo-hoo!
Right. But, if your gal's looking for a program she could afford, New Mexico is very affordable.
Yes.
And they
Gotcha.
have grants. Like, I got through all my school for free if you can be a resident.
I'm sure they gotta pay people to go there. It's hot. There's what else
They
is there?
do. It's
Scorpions. It's hot. You probably have scorpions. You have those kind of snakes that really kill people. I mean, what else you got there?
In Cruces, I don't know. We're like 6 hours away.
Yeah, not in Albuquerque. We don't have all those things, but we do have air conditioning in our classrooms. So
I bet you. I would think so, or nobody would come. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. But there's definitely advantages to taking some college courses, and there are some great schools out there, but there definitely are some useless degrees for sure. Yep.
Oh yes.
Yep.
All right. Emma, do you have any more questions or should we let this good lady go?
Is there anything else you'd like to tell us? We will definitely put info for your book, and your program's full. So
Yeah, my program is full for now. Yeah.
You go,
Yeah.
girl.
Thank you. I do have one thing I would love to just go
Go
on
for it.
about for a second. So I get phone calls all the time from parents, usually asking me if their insurance will cover my services.
Mm.
I teach riding lessons. Horseback riding is not medically necessary. So no, your insurance will not cover it. Yes, I am a therapeutic horseback riding instructor. That means that I'm certified to teach riding skills to kids and adults with disabilities. That's exactly what it means. That's all of it. If you're looking for PT, speech, or OT, that's hippotherapy. The American Hippotherapy Association can point you in the right direction to find someone who does that. If you're looking for mental health, then that's the EGALA folks. You can talk to them and find an equine facilitated psychotherapy or mental health facility. I have people all the time who use equine therapy as a term, and it drives me bananas. Because you can say goat therapy or dog therapy, but the dog and the goat are not the ones getting the therapy, right? The horses in general don't need therapy. Yes, some of them do, but I am not a therapist. So communicating the proper terminology to the general public as equine professionals is my biggest pet peeve. We have got to use the right terminology. So, I'm not going to be one of those keyboard warriors who goes after people, but occasionally when someone uses the wrong terminology, I ask them to fix it. And it just bugs the crap out of me because Joe Schmo down the street doesn't know the difference between equine therapy and hippotherapy. They don't understand the terminology. So we have to educate them. So that is a huge piece of what I do every day. Is try to educate people on the terminology.
I can attest, when I was saying I was a therapeutic type riding instructor, that's all I got. So yeah. Can you just really quick tell us the title of your book and brief, like whatever you're happy to reveal about what it's about or who Henry is?
So Henry Standing Bear is my horse. And the title of the book is The Saga of Henry Standing Bear. And it is a story about a horse who we rescued, who had a very severe accident, and he was not rideable. You couldn't tie him, tighten his cinch, tie him up. You couldn't do any of those things. And we worked with him until he has now become the world's most perfect unicorn. And he does almost all the riding lessons. The kids do vaulting on him. He's fantastic. He's absolute perfection. So the book came out on Amazon last month as an ebook, and now it's a paperback, and it's volume 1. So I'm going to do 3 at the moment. I'm doing 3 volumes, and then we're going to put them together as one big graphic novel.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's some really pretty pictures.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, she did a great job with the pictures. And the second book is about Acheron, who died last year of laminitis. And the illustrator is madly in love with Acheron, just madly in love with him because he's 12 different colors because he was born black and he turned into a dapple gray. His mother was a flea-bitten gray. So her computer program does not understand his color. It calls him blue. So even though he's gray. So so Acheron will be the second volume, and then My Dog Finn and Pony Boy will be the volume number 3.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah.
And pictures of them. That's so fun. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll have lots of vaulting pictures of Pony. Yep.
Cool.
You may have to send us a link. I'm trying
Yeah.
to search for it on Amazon and it's not coming up. All
It's
kinds of pictures.
Henry with an I.
Okay, thank you. All right. That's perfect.
Because
Okay.
Henry with a Y is actually a character from the Longmire series.
Gotcha.
So we made Henry with an I. So it's
Okay.
Saga of Henry
I
Standing.
found him. All right. Gotcha. Awesome.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and we have merchandise coming out. So, you know, I'm really trying to do to follow this book path as much as I can. Yeah.
Awesome.
Definitely send me the merch when it comes out because this won't come out for a little bit.
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And thank you so much, Kendra.
Of course, of course. And if you ever want to talk about the outdoor recreation sector, let me know because that's my other big passion is getting the whole industry involved.
I would because I think that whole grant thing is so important to get the info out there.
And New Mexico was the first state to have an outdoor recreation division. So go New Mexico. South Carolina was the second state, but New Mexico was the first state. So it's pretty exciting. We're leading the nation in something.
No, that would be interesting to talk to you about because I know lots of farm owners are looking for ways. They're thinking of storing people's boats, turning those horse stalls into kenneling things. They're definitely looking for other sources of revenue or to get out of boarding and do something else with their property.
Yeah,
because they've had enough of boarding.
Yeah, like outdoor
to...
classrooms. I mean, outdoor classrooms is a huge thing right now. Yeah, I mean,
especially
after COVID, you know.
All right, cool.
For sure.
All right, we're gonna have you back on. We will do a whole thing. You can tell us all about that. I love it. You're a font of wisdom. Thank you, Kendra.
Yes.
I try.
Thanks again for joining us, everybody. We really appreciate it. I have put the Amazon link to Kendra's book, The Saga of Hending Standing Bear, in our show notes.